Hi everybody, Zach and I are here today to talk about Serenity Scott makeup brushes. We are standing in front of our store display, and if you are a retailer or interested in being one, this is pretty much how we showcase our product. But today we're talking about brushes, and we, like always, butt heads on everything in the store, so we thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about the brushes to show the differences and how, they don't necessarily have to be for just one thing. We use them differently and for different purposes, and I think we would like to introduce you to our collection and talk about the features and benefits and the differences and what they do and how or why. So the wise Zach will be talking
whatever.
Anyway, so you want to just go 1 through 12 and start talking?
Sure.
Okay.
Number 1 is what I think the story behind this is it's a play off the ponytail kind of hairbrush.
It's my absolute favorite brush. I worked for MAC years and years ago, and this is the equivalent. This is sort of a vegan version of MAC 217, which if you're a brush fanatic or anything, or if you're a MAC fan, you'll understand this. But it's a 217. It's a really pretty blending fluff, essentially, and the reason that I like it and the reason that I love it so much is that it's perfect for eyeshadow, it's perfect for blending, it's perfect for concealer, and we like concealer brushes for our powder as well, and it works really well for that. So it's so multifunctional. You can grab it. It's one of those. This would be one of my desert island brushes.
Yeah, I would agree. This one I definitely use a lot of times for concealing because it's got a little bit more of a point to it, so I can get right into the corners a little easier. And so I normally designate this one as a concealer, but if I don't use it as a concealer, I'd like to use it as a blending brush a lot more.
Yeah. And it's funny because the other thing that I like about it, because of that point, is close your eye for a sec. So when I'm hitting in, I can use that point to hit, the inside and the outside, so you get a really nice line here, and then flipping it sideways, you can sort of blend with it. So, it's great for concealing, but I also love it for shadows too. So this, big favorite.
Definitely. And then number 2 is a traditional concealer brush. I will say that this one is probably not one of my desert island brushes, but I use this one for mainly the eye primer.
It's funny. I use it for eye primer, but you know Samantha Riley. Hi, Samantha. We love you. Thank you for everything. She loves this for packing on color with eyeshadow. And that's what's so interesting about brushes and people and artistry and product. And the thing that's interesting about this too is because it's a flatter brush and it's a little denser, it's going to hold pigment or color more than a light fluffy brush will. So, I don't want to jump ahead, but when we get to number 6, we'll kind of compare and contrast number 1 and number 6. Same sort of reason for that.
6 love.
So this is great though, because if you are, what I use this for a lot too, is I like to use this as a makeup artist. I'm from the school where you don't touch people's faces, and I know that's really common in a lot of, the industry. I tend to try to keep the sanitation and the cleanliness of everything and not cross-contaminate and things like that. So I really like this to put liquid foundation on and then use another brush to buff it in.
Yeah.
So this would be essentially like fingertip application.
Definitely. If someone is a little, if I go in with the next brush that we're going to talk about, with the traditional liquid foundation, because I like to keep it just to the tips, and I hit it on somebody and I start blending out, and I find that they're really dry, I should not rethink it. I will go back with this one and add it into places and then just really buff it out so that I'm not accentuating the dry factor of them. But this is the one, the number 3 traditional foundation brush that I prefer. I keep all the foundation just to the tips and then kind of, spackle throughout and then buff and blend out. But I like this guy a lot.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't use this much because I use the number 2 for most of my liquid stuff. I like, especially with our SPF, the skin perfecting foundation that we have, I feel like it sets really quickly, and so I like to section the face and use the brush like fingertip and then go back in and buff it more. So it's funny, what I use this for is when I'm using cream blush.
What?
I do. I use it for cream blush to do more
Never in a
contour.
million would I think of it.
Yeah.
But my other trick with this one is I like to highlight with it if
Yeah.
I'm doing a photo shoot because it has that nice edge that I can really pack it in that sense. With the powder foundations, I can really pack in a nice highlight throughout. And if I'm not going to use it as a liquid foundation, then I use it as that.
Yeah,
with
it's
a
funny.
highlighter.
Yeah, I don't use it traditionally.
That blows my mind. See,
I know.
this one is the one that I use for a cream blush because I can just go in and kind of pick it up a little bit to see it. So that's the number 4. And I use it in a powder blush or contour and everything because of the angle of it. That's what makes it really nice for me. And I even use this as my powder brush typically.
I will too. A lot of times it's funny how customers or models will see me doing that, and I forget that I should probably be using the brush, the appropriate brush. But I do. I love this, and you know, one of the things that I really like about it is if we haven't mentioned already, our brushes are all synthetic, so they're vegan brushes. They are what's called a circular cut synthetic fiber. They're Japanese. It's a Japanese fiber, and the circular cut element of it means that it comes to a point, so it mimics virgin hair or fur. So it's really, really soft. And there's enough play in these synthetic fibers now that you can get them really, really soft and light, or they can have a denseness and a thickness to them. And so the nice thing about this for blush is that it picks up pigment so much lighter and it goes on lighter so that you don't worry about that Raggedy Ann pop that you can't blend in easily. So I like it for that, and I do like it for contour. But I do like it for powder foundation as well.
As in Asheville, we call them vegan bunnies.
Yes. Yes, it's true.
This is number 5. This is probably my desert island brush, just because.
This is his concealer brush.
Yeah.
We call it an eyeshadow brush. Most of us.
This I love because it's got that edge, that flat edge that I can get right up to somebody's lash line and just really blend out with that. You can do that with the number 1 too, and so can the number 2. But I like fluffy in almost everything that I do because I can control the amount of pigment that happens that goes onto the face a little more. But if I don't use it as a concealer, I pack it on as a highlight or a lid as well. But I don't blend with this one.
I don't blend with this either, but it does pack a lot of color, so I like it for that. I know Samantha Riley, we'll be dropping her name because she's, we're fans of hers. We're big YouTube fans of Samantha. And she really likes this, but she liked it because there's enough fluff to it that you can blend, so you can apply and then go back in and blend in a pinch, or if you want to. So the other thing that's nice really about our synthetic brushes is that because they are synthetic, they're not porous like a natural fiber is. So if you have problematic skin or if you don't clean your brushes often enough, they don't hold bacteria like a natural fiber does. So they're much better for anyone who's got acne prone or problematic skin, or we really strongly recommend that you wash your makeup brushes regularly, but I think they do help with that.
They do help with it. And what we normally recommend too is like a mild baby shampoo or a mild hand soap to wash the brushes in. When you're rinsing them out, just kind of hold them at an angle to where the water doesn't go into the barrel. And our biggest trick, which I can't believe, is you have a countertop, just lay the brushes down.
Well, here, you got one right there.
That might be a little too low. But just let them hang off the side to where they can dry out and not let them dry this way. Because all the water and the soap and everything just goes right down in the barrel and kills them. These are hardy brushes.
The other thing that's really nice about synthetics, or at least ours, is that they don't shed. If you're a makeup artist or a girl that, you're a big makeup fan, a lot of brushes, especially like the darker ponies and things, tend to, you look like you've got whiskers halfway through because you got to pick all the brushes out. And these don't, for some reason, they just don't shed like a natural fiber brush can. So that's another advantage to it.
This one is the number 6 brush.
Blending crease brush.
Blending crease. And I love this sucker for more of a dramatic eye, or even just a soft everyday eye. But this is the one that I apply the darkest colors with. I will save in like the number 1 brush for an everyday, and oftentimes if I want to take it to more dramatic, I want to add more pigment, but I don't want to cross the line of, ooh, this is nice, and boom, you went too far, and now you have to spend all your time blending and taking back off. This is the one that I think gives you the most control over a dramatic eye.
I know, and it's funny too, because this is one of those things when you talk about makeup artists and everybody having a different approach or take on things, is I've heard a lot of people say, this is the brush that should never actually touch eyeshadow.
Yeah.
that this is your blending brush. So you keep your clean, dry brush that it goes in to blend. But the other thing I really like about this, I use this all the time. This is like my go-to for our powder foundation because this works great. Because this works great as a concealer, because if you see how big and fluffy and light it is, it's like a powder brush, miniature size. So you can still press that in, load it, and get it in, but everything blends so much softer. So I love this for powder concealing.
I'll pack in the concealer with the other
No, I know, and
brush,
that's what I thought would be so fun, is that we totally use the same products completely differently.
Yeah.
And that's what's so nice, because you can see everybody's makeup kit and their brush kits are heavy with different things. Like mine is heavy with this. I've got 5 of these in my.
Yeah, no, the number 5 one is the one that I have the most of.
And this is one that I was really big on when we started to develop the brushes, because I love eyeshadow detail brushes. Anything where you can really get in and pack color and place color and then use your blending crease to kind of softly blend it in. I've been so accused of being the light beauty guy, and it took me a long time to embrace that and realize that actually was a compliment. Because you want to think you can do the big
to the
drama
everyday woman.
color.
It's definitely more approachable, I think.
So I like this. It's funny. I know Serenity really likes this for lipstick application.
Me too.
Makeup artists, but I really like it for eyeshadow and for detailing.
Yeah,
I think it's really, really nice.
Lipstick brush all the way.
Yeah.
And this guy, the number 8, kind of like a smudge liner brush. I didn't use this one for a long time because I was I was intimidated by it because it's so stiff, and like I said, I like really fluffy brushes.
Yeah.
But I've embraced it kind of as a gel liner.
Yeah,
as well.
It's great for that. It's really great for lining under the eye. It's great for packing on color into the. It's almost like you can use this as a push brush. When you talk about
exactly push liner brush.
Yeah,
it's what it did.
And you guys, I'm sure everybody watching this knows what a push liner brush is. But it's when you want to thicken your lash line without having a really strong line or eyeliner look, and you can just smudge that into a dark matte eyeshadow and just smudge it right into the root line, the root of the lash line, and it just gives you this really beautiful thick look to your lashes. But I also like it for gel liner and lining under there, or just tapping. Sometimes I want to just put a little bit more of a punch in the crease without going really heavy or strong, so I can tap a little of that in and then take my number 6 brush, that blending crease, and go in and softly blend that in. So I love detail brushes like this. And it's so dense. It's funny because it's super thin too. It's like a fine line. You wouldn't think.
Really thin, but it is so stiff. Like the bristles barely bend, and which I've learned to appreciate when doing a little bit more editorial liner, or even just a little simple smudge liner. I'm like, this is the brush for liner.
Yeah.
Speaking of liners, we have the angle liner, number 9. This one was my gel liner for the longest time, and I would just kind of press it and pinch it and then kind of just tap in and smudge kind of. But now that I've embraced the number 8, I kind of reserve this guy for brow.
Yeah, I was going to say it's really good with our brow gel too if you're wanting to fill in the brow or create a little bit more of a tail. And we have to thank Danny, Coffee Break with Danny, for that, because she is the brow gel queen now. I mean, love you. And your mom. We have pictures. We should put up a little picture, because we met her mom at one of the trade shows and we just fell in love. She's awesome. So, but yeah, so thank you to Danny for a lot of the brow gel stuff, and we do use that a lot for that.
This one I've definitely started reserving, and I have a ton of these in my kit.
Yeah, you've got to have them.
And then we have the number 10 mascara fan brush. I love this when I have falsies. When I use either a half lash or a full lash or anything, and I want to marry or pinch the lashes together, but I don't want to use a spoolie, because then I'm like, oh God, then I have to spend some time or something. Yeah. I just barely hit it and then pinch it together, and then I'll hit the tips oftentimes.
And what's really funny is I like it for that. Especially if you're using like a half or a 3/4 lash and you're blending the false lash with the natural lash on the insides. This really helps to blend that cover, to really match the two up. Yeah, but the other thing I love about this, and this sounds really funny, but I love it for blondes or silver-haired, white-haired people, because you can get into the root really easily. So, you know, you can have them closing at the top root and blend down. And with a spoolie, sometimes you end up hitting the lid, but with this, you can get a really light application of the lower lash, of the upper lash, right into the root. So it's great for anyone that doesn't have really dark lashes, because it just...
Yeah, because when you look at somebody straightforward, it's like, oh, it's pretty, and then you look down or they blink or something, it's like, oh, it's not natural.
Yeah.
It helps.
It's fun. That's weird. It's fun. It's funny too, because I also like it. Welcome to our reality.
Right.
I also like this for male, like if I'm working with an actor or a male model, because you know once you hit that powder, sometimes their eyelashes can get a little coated with that, and so you can just go in with a little something light and just brush that off. So you're not putting mascara on the man.
Clear brow gel, or hit it with a little hairspray, and then
or even just anything light. It'll really help to knock that powder down, and it doesn't look girly necessarily.
It's not bad.
Not that there's anything wrong with being a girly.
New, but girly boy. Poof. I made one of them in there. But this is the number 11 lip liner or lip brush.
Lip brush, yeah.
I use this one a lot, but I use the number 7 a little more. I use this one if I want to be a little bit more detailed. Like our lip shines, this one I use because I can be a little bit more free with it. And this one for our like our deep reds or something where the line really counts, I'll use this one.
It's funny, I like this too for color, for eyeshadows. Because, again, you know, when we were talking about, you know, if it's a shorter or denser brush, it's going to apply color more, and if it's longer and softer and fluffier, it's going to get a much softer, lighter application, so it's good for blending. And so the thing that's really funny between the two of these is you can see that this is going to be shorter and denser, so you can pack more pigment on. And if you want to, you know, throw a little bit in there and keep it soft and subtle again, then blend it in, the longer bristles I think are nice for that. So I like this. It's also nice for concealing if you're using more of like our dual action concealer or something. But that's kind of our 1 through 12 brush collection. We also have 2 sort of travel size brushes. Our kabuki or blending brush, which is great because, you know, just click that on and it travels in the purse, and it saves the bristles. Again, super soft but denser than...
This one's denser than I think the...
it is.
The counterpart to that one, which we don't have over here, do we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so this is great for travel, and it's actually the most expensive brush we have. I should also say, I guess, our brushes range from $12 retail to $22 for our big powder brush, which we don't have. Now, how did we go through that whole thing and miss our powder brush?
Sorry, stepping off. I knew it. We were missing one. I just grabbed it from the store over here. This one, the shorter handle non-travel one, I think is a little fluffier than the travel one. The travel one, I think, is going to give you more coverage. This one's going to pick up less, deposit less, really kind of buff out. I think Rin uses this as her foundation.
I like to use it for blending liquid foundation.
Liquid foundation.
This is actually, for me, a better buffer brush for blending and buffing into the skin. But the other thing that's kind of nice about this, if it is a travel brush, you can actually pack it in. You know, you can actually pack the powder and close it up and carry it with you. So if you do need an afternoon touch-up or something, or if you're on set with a model and you just need that little bit of extra, you know, you've got it in your apron, you can pop it out and just press a little bit onto to knock the shine, and it's you know, you're good to go. So sorry we missed number 12. I guess better late than never, but this is it really is one of the better brushes for, and you can see it's one of the used. We use this all the time. Nothing like having a used brush to showcase our line. But this is really great for our powder foundation, and we always talk about, you know, how with this powder is so soft and light, and that, you know, all it takes is a light press and a little bit of a push to load the brush. And
you can see one of my anal retentive things for the store.
Oh, yeah. Do you want us?
I color code everything.
Well, I hope this has been. You think we're done now that we've totally embarrassed ourselves on that?
Ta-da!
I hope this has been helpful or educational, or at least inspired you to maybe pick up one of our brushes. You can find them the most easily online at serenityscottbeauty.com. And did we actually talk about pricing, not too much. We talked a little bit. It goes from 12 to 16 to 18 to 22, and most of them run in that range. So
I think the Travel's in its 30.
What I really love about these two, and especially just being vegan or synthetic, is that they're actually healthier. They're softer or firmer, depending. They're really beautiful. They're
actually softer than a natural
and
fiber,
they're less
in my opinion.
expensive. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of like win-win. You can't. I mean, you can't go wrong with them. So
The biggest thing that I think we would want to stress in showcasing the two of us talking about the brush is don't be married to the brush as this is only this one. Experiment. Try the shadow brushes as a concealer brush.
But
Try
you
this one
will.
as this
But
one.
you know what? You will eventually
Be
once
married to
You'll be
one.
married to it for. Once you figure what it works for you, you'll love it,
Yeah.
and that'll be your baby. But I mean, there is versatility in that. So
Yeah.
So if you have any questions, we always say this, but if you have any questions, let us know in the comment section. If you'd like to see any more or less, or if you'd like to see the brushes in action specifically for a product, let us know. And like us and subscribe and tell us, what's working and what's not. So we look forward to seeing you or having you see us again soon. And thank you for watching.
Bye.